We all here and ready to roll? Thank you very much for sharing your time with us today. We appreciate you all being here. And I see so many familiar names, and I just want to reach out and give you all a big hug, a virtual hug. We miss seeing you in person, and we hope to share some fun information with you today. So for those that don't know me, my name is Patti Cash, and I'm the owner here at Magic Cruises and Tours. And with us today, we have Mr. Reiner Marks, one of our very favorite Vikings from Viking Cruises that we've known for many, many years. And we'll be telling you a little bit more about Reiner as we get through the presentation this evening. And we've got Marcia Forsey with us up there in the top bar. I'd like to introduce our staff to you. If we can just take a quick peek at our office. I know there's a few people that are new to us at Magic. And for those of you who don't know us, we are located right in the heart of downtown Worthington, nestled right in between, Grater's Ice Cream, Jet's Pizza, the donut shop, and need I say more, right? So come on down and visit us whenever you get a craving. Now, Marcia's going to be on here with us to kind of monitor any of the questions and answers that are coming through on the chat function on the bottom of your screen.
Yeah, feel free to type into the Q&A. I'll take a look at those, and if they're addressed during the presentation, great. If not, we'll try and bring those up at the end.
Okay, and if we run out of time, we'll get back to each and every one of you on that. Okay, so we've been here for 33 years. 1988 we got started here at Magic Cruises and Tours, and we're still going strong, and we're glad to be here to service each and every one of our clients, because we truly put the business of your pleasure, we take it very seriously. We love Viking Cruises. We're happy to be representing them. They've been in business for 23 years, so we've been working with them for 23 of our 33 years in business and created some wonderful relationships. Certainly, they've sent us back literally thousands of extremely satisfied guests over the years, and for that, we applaud Viking for the role that they play in making your vacation special. And we do work at it. We continue to educate ourselves. We go through the training academies. Of course, we must go on these cruises, right? So we know everything that there is to know to share that with you as well. And today we're going to talk mostly about ocean cruises. But first, let's just see. I was looking at the list, and I see that there's a handful of folks that have never been on Viking Cruises before. So I say, you are in the right place at the right time to get a good dose of Viking knowledge. There's some of you most of you have been on river cruises and love the river cruising experience, but not as many of you have been on the Viking Ocean Cruises. And so that's what we're going to focus on today, because that's a really special segment of their product. And I also just want to point out that, you know, guys, we've been doing this a long time. There's a lot of little ins and outs and clever ways we can put things together to make sure that we're offering you the most optimal savings. And if you are a past Viking guest, then you may already know that on your future bookings, you always get an additional savings off of your next bookings. For those of you who are new to Viking, you also could qualify for a referral discount. And wink, wink, we might know a few people that could refer you to Viking Cruises. Yeah, close your ears, Reiner, to offer both our past Viking guests and you as our new Viking guests some extra savings. So that's just one more little avenue that we like to explore when we're trying to help our guests get the best deal. So those are the kind of conversations that we'll have with you as we get closer into making your own reservations. And today I'm going to be happy to turn this over to Reiner, Marcia, and Reiner and I. We're going to have just kind of a conversation with you all, talking about the ocean cruises. And, you know, we all know Viking for the river cruises, but how do these ocean cruises come to be? And what are they all about? And where do they go? And things like that. So, Reiner, please take it away.
Well, thank you so much. This is really a wonderful opportunity for me to talk about this passion of mine that has been for so many years. I started in this industry as a chef, as a hotel manager in later years. So, but you know what they say, when it gets too hot in the kitchen, you got to get out. And that's what I did in my mid 30s, and then moved to the dark side of sales. And that's what I'm doing since then, you know, and support our wonderful partners like Patti and Magic Cruises, who's been nothing than absolutely fantastic and welcoming. I always love to come out to Worthington to make my way. And I've tried extensively those restaurants next, left and right to you guys. So I can vouch for that. It's worth the trip, you know, to see Patti for sure, but you know, nobody leaves hungry that area. And it's such a beautiful downtown area there. I really, really enjoy that. But today we're going to talk a little bit about these great ships and the itineraries and the wonderful, you know, regions that we're sailing out there. And it's, like I said, it's been a passion of mine to combine travel, to look at the different foods of the world, you know, and that makes me a typical Viking cruiser, right? People that go on Viking, they're not looking for the greatest rock climbing wall, you know, they're looking for a cultural experience. They learn about music. They look to see the art and experience the culture of the destination. Those are the people like-minded that meet on Viking, and you know, it also reflected in the cultural curriculum on board, where we learn from resident historians that talk about their expertise about, you know, any possible topic about history and everything in between. Now here, these are the ships that we're talking about, and gosh, we just did a count, Patti and I and Marsha, right before you know, before we went live, we counted to 8, right? So there's Viking Star, Viking Sea, Viking Sky. You kind of see the astronomical topic here, right? The Venus, the Orion, Mars.
Jupiter.
About these days. Pardon me? And there's 2 more. Did I forget any? There is also Octantis, which many of you might know. It's the most southern star in the hemisphere, in the southern hemisphere, and Polaris, those expedition vessels that were launching in 2022. And they're also afloat, so smaller ships even than these small 930 passenger vessels. And one thing when you look at these vessels, strikes you probably right away. You don't see any cabins that are not having a veranda. Every single cabin on these ships has its own private veranda, and that's amazing. That is something, you know, very unusual in the industry. Patti, you do sell a lot of cruises. You can probably back me up. This is not something you normally see. There's no inside cabins, right?
That's correct. And we do ultimately sell more balconies on cruise ships than most agencies sell, but we're grateful that we have all the choices of balconies on the Viking ships. And you know, having only 930 guests on a board a ship of this size is really offers a lot of elbow room. And we're finding that our guests are looking for that size of a vessel and not necessarily wanting to gravitate towards the huge, big 5,000 passenger vessels all the time, especially at this point in time.
Absolutely. And then you're touching a very, very important topic here that, you know, even with the 930 passengers that we could fit on the ship, we're not sailing at full capacity even those days. But, you know, that's a sign of the time in order to enable social distancing and all of that. But we're looking, when somebody asks me, how would you describe the ship? You know, Serene Scandinavian Spaces sounds really fancy and is a beautiful mouthful, but what does it really mean, right? It's contemporary. It feels open, airy, and I'm trying to use my own words here, and I hope you can hear them through the German accent. You know, you have ceiling to floor windows all throughout the ship. This ship is a great viewing platform, especially when you sail a coastal region. You're looking out into the islands of the Adriatic, or those 1,000 islands outside of the Greek islands. From anywhere on the ship, you can see, you know, the outside, the exterior. It's absolutely beautiful. And when you walk onto these ships, one thing that strikes you from the very beginning and the get-go is because they're open, they are bright, a lot of daylight flooding through those ships, and that is very unique, right? Many of you have been or might have been on ocean vessels before, and I've done my fair share of working on other cruise lines and sailing as a passenger. Sometimes it feels like you walk into a dungeon, like it gets all dark and the colors are dark and you kind of, your eyes need to reset to the lower lighting. I don't know what the reason for that is. So Serene Scandinavian, the Scandinavian part here is light-filled spaces, because the Scandinavians love nothing more than their very sparse summer months and bringing that daylight into the ship. So that is a topic and a theme that you will find all throughout the ship. And when it says here as a bullet point, art, literature, and history that you're surrounded by, that is not overstated, right? You have artifacts from the ancient Vikings, excavation, statues of helmets, replicas of swords, and those kind of things that kind of tie into the heritage and the history of Viking. You even have a little Viking museum, a corner with Viking artifacts on this ship that tell you about our heritage, our Viking heritage. There you can even find out if you have some Viking lineage in your ancestry. You know, there's a very, very interesting way of finding that out by the lines in your hand. Believe it or not, shockingly, I do. So it is. it is a great feeling on board. And when it says relaxation is integral, that means that you find a lot of spaces on board to kind of break away and take a seat and enjoy, away from crowds, if you will. If you can even talk about crowds when you're looking at 930 passengers on a full-size ocean vessel. So typical when you walk onto the ship, this is your atrium, the first large area that you see, 3 stories with this beautiful digital screen here where we feature photography or artwork from around the world. There's music permeating throughout this beautiful ship. And when you look left and right of this atrium, of the staircase here, these are called the living rooms. There's great little areas to kind of relax and unwind, have a conversation, have a drink, right? There's coffee being offered all throughout the ship, and not only coffee, but specialty coffees, macchiatos, lattes, espressos, and the best part of it, you want to say it? What's the best part of those coffees and teas?
All included, all
You
included.
pay for them. That's right. That's amazing, right? So
I'm glad you pointed out the living room aspect of this main atrium area is, I think, really significant to the whole overall feeling of the ship, and the attention to detail that you guys put into these vessels is amazing. But the comfortable surroundings, it's like more residential. It's just truly more comfortable, and lots of accessibility for people to, get together, but seated apart far enough, but still have conversations and enjoy the music. And it's really lovely.
it is, and it breaks down this, what looks from here like a large area, but you have room dividers in these areas that, make it a living room where 6 or 8 people can comfortably face each other around the coffee table, and it feels like you're sitting in your living room. Mm-hmm. It's really beautiful, the way it's designed and laid out. And it's also inviting to make new friends, right? You easily ask, hey, people invite you to sit with them, and you get into a conversation with someone from Florida or someone from Canada. By the way, I want to mention one thing. All of these ships are 100% English speaking, so you will not find any other language on board than English. So it's folks from Canada, the United States, of course, Great Britain. They normally struggle a little bit with English, but we have folks from New Zealand, from Australia, but English is the only language you do hear on board. And the print materials, obviously, everything that you get in your cabin is in English as well. So let's take a peek what else there is to talk about. Now we're getting to one of my favorite spots, my favorite areas on board. And if you hadn't figured it out yet, as a former chef, I'm a hopeless foodie, right? But what they do here on board, and we're going to go into that in detail a little bit further, is really fantastic, and one of the most European and most British and English institutions is the high tea in the afternoon. And here at the Winter Garden, not only do you have that feel of a Norwegian forest with all these pillars kind of signifying that Norwegian forest with kind of hints of Odin and the mythology of the ancient Vikings all throughout the ship. But we're offering a tea time here that is really remarkable. You have these freshly baked scones with the Devonshire cream. You have those madeleines and little pastries, of course, the little finger sandwiches. Nothing like the sandwiches that we are used to, like these little tiny finger sandwiches, you know, that make up for a little snack, for a little sophisticated snack in between lunch and dinner, just to bridge you over enough for that next meal, so you don't starve, right? While making sure that that's won't happen. There's teas that are kind of blended to order, so you let your server know what kind of tea you like, right? Whether it is a Darjeeling or a Mokkabari, or you like your teas a little bit more flowery, or you like them bold, like a you know, Earl Grey. Everything in between, they blend them right there for you. Kind of like, you know, do you remember that concept of Tivana? Right, the tea shops that they're out there, so they blend the teas for you. And let me tell you, it's so much fun to try something new, or go with something that you're familiar with. And you see that beautiful coffee machine, that Italian espresso machine there in the corner. I mean, the coffees are just remarkable. They're outstanding. So here at the Winter Garden, great spot, right around 3:30, 4 o'clock. If you're not familiar with you know, that the schedule yet on board, just pay attention when people slowly getting up, like on a command from anywhere on the ship, wherever they are, and kind of start marching up here. You know, it's tea time and people are kind of gravitating towards the high tea. And that's taking place here at the Winter Garden. Now, looking from the Winter Garden, you just turn around. Instead of looking at the beautiful tea station, you look now into the main pool area. And there's a number of pools on board, of course. One thing I want to put out there as a reminder: Viking allows only kids older than 18 on board. So unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to interpret it,
Right.
there will be no kids on board, right? As a side effect of that, when you're sitting around this beautiful pool area, there will be no cannonballs, no screaming. There won't be any entertainers that kind of try to animate you into some interesting contests, right? None of that. It is sophisticated. You hear, you know, relaxing music at a decent level, at a decent noise level, piped in. We might go as crazy as doing maybe a ABBA featured party, or the Rat Pack party here in the evenings around the pool area, to kind of lighten the mood. But that's as crazy as we get on this ship, right? So it's very sophisticated. You can grab a book, you can hear your own thoughts without getting splashed on or run over by storming kids, and none of that. So now here's the thing: we figured we love kids, we love our kids, not necessarily those of others, right? Because we know how ours behave. But if I would have the chance to get away from mine for a week, I would love to do that. So with that being said, let's look at this beautiful spa area. Basic spa services, ladies and gentlemen, are included as well. So just oftentimes when you're a past cruiser, to get into the spa area, and Marsha and Patti, back me up on that, oftentimes there is a fee involved, right? Just to go into the pool area, indoor pools, relaxation areas, saunas.
They have pass, get a pass.
Get a pass.
And sometimes people don't realize that, and they don't know. And I mean, truly, to be able to go into the spa on the Viking Ocean Cruises, it's like walking into a whole world of serene bliss. And I hope you're going to show us some other pictures of some of the stuff in there, because it is a wonderful, tranquil area to just experience.
Mm-hmm.
It is. So we do have a steam bath there. We have the saunas. This is the relaxation area. And that pool that you see there right next to it is a gorgeous, like a thermal pool, right? You can sit in there and enjoy the sulfur and, you know, the minerals in the water. And what you see back there is not a real fireplace. You know, you can't have real fire on ships, that, you know, by no means. It's kind of like a faux fireplace. It kind of looks like fire, but it's lit steam that is actually quite realistic. It's amazing. There's multiple little jacuzzis there. And then I want to point out one thing that is unique for Viking as well. We call it the Nordic spa, right? So where you alternate between hot and cold. So you go into the sauna to warm your body up, right? And then you cool off, kind of alternate to get your metabolism. It's good for your blood flow and all of that. It's called a Nordic spa. The concept is known for centuries, right? The Russian banya, where they hop into the frozen lake and then come out and do it all over again. Now, we're not going to make you hop into a frozen lake, but if you want to go a little bit further and really want to get the full Viking experience, how about this little room here, snow grotto? Look, if you want to cool off with a plunge in a cooler pool, that's one way to do it. Or you do it like the ancient Vikings and you rub yourself down with snow. And you can do that here in the Viking snow grotto, where there's always 2 feet of snow on the ground. And you rush in, rub yourself down. Again, it's optional, but it will be really an amazing experience and a fun experience. Now, I know, Ohio, you know your fair share of snow. Let me tell you, where I live in Arizona, this is huge. You know, people are in utter disbelief. Why would people do that to one another? But it is, like I said, it's a very holistic kind of approach to the spa theme, right? Now, moving on to dining. I mean, dining is important for all of us, right? We want to eat well, and you do on Viking, and you can probably back me up. My advice is do not start a diet before going on a Viking cruise. It is very likely that we're going to ruin your diet. Now, what's unique and special about our restaurants? I personally think it's the best food on board. The food is great everywhere, but I probably had one of the best Chateaubriands in one of our restaurants on the ocean ships. And when you see the layout here, it's also really nice that all the tables facing the windows, facing the outside, and again, ceiling the floor, windows to
and guess what? Those windows will slide open. So when you're in mild climate weather, you can dine al fresco right in the main dining room. It's very impressive.
How
and
awesome
so I'm going to make Reiner toot his horn just a little bit more, because we've learned this over the years, and Viking didn't set out to be the best in ocean cruising necessarily and the best in cuisine, but I'll be darned, they have earned that, and they have earned it with the quality of the cuisine on board. So you should feel proud about that.
We're very, very proud. Our head chef, when you meet him in person, he is maybe in his mid-30s. I mean, talk about some incredible talent. He really created that food program on board. He creates all those menus, and he is nothing short of amazing. Anthony is a guy from France. I've met him many, many times. I used to work as a chef, but he is in a league of its own. It's really amazing. He's fantastic. So the most personable gentleman you've ever met, and if you ask him, he's happy to share recipes. He's happy to take you behind the scenes. Anthony is amazing. So of course he travels from ship to ship, but if you ever get a chance to meet him, I mean, he's a fantastic young man. Moving on to one of the restaurant concepts that we have on board. Is one of the restaurants that are super popular, and that's called Manfredi's. Manfredi's, an Italian outlet. I mean, with all the great French and Spanish cuisine that we're offering on all these itineraries, sometimes, and please back me up, it's just got to be some homemade pasta. It's just got to be a nice steak, right?
I mean, truly, you think Italian restaurant, but the best ribeye steak ever at Manfredi's. So there's a good selection.
And I talked to Anthony. Like I said, I asked him many times, Anthony, what do you do to that ribeye steak to make it so tender, so juicy? That's the one recipe he will not share.
Oh.
I tried to bribe, I tried to threaten, I tried to beg and plead. He will not share the recipe to that. It's a 3-day marinade. That's as far as I got out of him. Okay. The steaks are 3 days marinated, and let me tell you, it's so tender, you barely need to run your knife through it to cut it. It's so fantastic. Now, Manfredi's is on every ocean ship. We created this dining space on every ocean ship. And you have this Italian music permeating through here. You have the decor, the design. and it's beautiful, absolutely amazing. Well done, Viking. Also, each of our specialty restaurants has a private dining room. And again, completely free of charge. You do not pay to dine, whether at Manfredi's or at the private dining place. If you find some new friends on these ocean cruises and you want to put a group of 8 or 10 together and dine here, just talk to the maitre d'. There's no charge involved. Or you maybe have a birthday or a celebration. Absolutely. Talk to the maitre d'. There's no charge. We're going to get you into one of those specialty dining, private dining rooms. There's no fee whatsoever. Another great spot on board is the chef's table. Now, here, as a former chef, I can tell you, this is a dream come true for a chef, where you can let it all out, all your creativity, right? The menu here changes every 3 days, and it's a 6 to 8 course meal. Every course is paired with a different beverage. So you have the chef come out, explain the meal to you, the food and the thinking behind it. You have the maitre d' come out to explain the beverage pairing with it. This is a celebration of food. So this is not a quick 1.5 hour kind of a meal. This is a longer celebration of food. So get ready to dive in.
Again, included.
We sound like a broken record, but it's true, right? It is.
I just want to say too that everything looks so beautiful and elegant, and the clean lines of the Nordic decor and everything, but it's not formal. It's not stuffy.
No, it's not.
Yeah, so it's comfortable, but it's definitely elevated in terms of service and quality, but you don't have to be all fancy and stuffy about it. You don't have to wear, suits and ties and things like that.
Yes. It is very casual. I mean, we do kind of ask for, or if people ask what kind of dress code, there's no dress code, but we recommend country club casual. That's kind of like the theme throughout. You can see how folks are dressed country club casual, the way you would go into your country club. You're perfectly dressed for any occasion on Viking. It is very laid back. For me, as a former culinary guy, there was nothing. We learned it in culinary school, that the traditional setting of the table, you have your 6 forks and your 4 knives and your 16 glassware. None of this, we really keep it to a minimum, but rather bring the new silverware with each course. So we don't want to be in a position where you sit down intimidated at the dish by, look how much silverware we have to put on this table, right? This is not the point. So casual, and it feels upscale, like you said, Marcia. I 100% agree. The presentation is beautiful. The portion size is just right. So you can eat 4 courses, 3 courses, and you don't feel like you just need to take a nap, right? So Aquavit Terrace. When we had some great experiences with our river ships. In the front of the ship, we have this gorgeous al fresco dining venue, right, where people gravitated to and quite frequently enjoyed. Sometimes we sort of ran out of space, so we noticed this is highly popular. People like to enjoy their meal, enjoy their drink, their breakfast outside. And we kind of implemented that al fresco dining concept on our Viking Ocean ships as well. So a little statistic that might be interesting for all of you, that Viking, when you look at the total amount of passengers, provides per passenger the most outside dining space of all the ships out there, of all the cruise lines, because there is nothing like sailing the Caribbean islands or sailing through the fjords in Norway, and you see those mountains left and right next to you, and those waterfalls come down, and you sit outside, you're enjoying your breakfast, almost in a stone throw away from this absolute natural beauty. There's nothing like it, right?
Love the fresh air, yes.
Right. Why sit in a restaurant, as beautiful as the restaurant is, if you can sit outside and be surrounded by this majestic beauty as you're enjoying your meal, right? And that was the thinking behind having so much outside dining space as a choice, right? There's nobody's being forced to eat outside, but we have those options for you. Now, these are the restaurant concepts and the dining concept. There's so many little corners, the most wonderful thing is, and the most well thought through, is that all of them are included. Patti and Marcia mentioned it before. You do not pay to dine anywhere here, right? We do ask you to make a reservation because nobody likes to wait in line. So when your time comes to make a reservation, we ask you to kind of reserve your table at Manfredi's, so we know how many to expect. The chef knows how much food to prepare, but there is no payment involved, right? Whether it's the 24-hour room service that is included, or the fantastic pool grill. The pool grill was kind of like a thought, we should provide some amazing food around the pool, just handheld sandwiches, why not a burger, right? And again, Anthony, he did it again. We won awards for our bison burger, for our lamb burger. He created this fantastic menu, even on the pool grill. You think, this is some nice complimentary food. We even won awards for that. So what can we say? The gentleman is absolutely amazing. And our chefs on board, they take so much pride into the food they're producing, they're making. It is heartwarming to see how much they love to work on making these plates look beautiful and making it fresh for you. Freshness is a huge thing that you will come across Viking as well. So what have I not talked about? World Cafe, Aquaviteras, these are your main street dining venues for lunch, for breakfast. These are great. Now, here are the reasons that really set us apart from many other cruise lines in the world, right? Certainly from those that have, like Patti said, 5,000, 6,000. What's the cap now? What are the biggest ones that there are now? I lost track.
Some big ones, yeah. There's something for everybody out there, that's for sure.
They're great and all, if I want to take my kids and need a kids club, that's probably my choice too. But this is a cruise line that focuses on small ship cruising, on high-end cruising, no kids under 18, right? And we don't bother people with photography sales, right? So there's nobody dressed in a Viking costume that you want to take pictures with and then buy it for $36 a pop, So none of this is really not it. Or no art auctions. We do visit the great art galleries of the world, absolutely, because we want to immerse ourselves and learn about the art, but we're not doing art auctions. That's not why people, we feel, come on Viking. Wine, beer is included with lunch and dinner. Alternative dining is included. What's important these days also is we want to stay connected with folks at home, right? So the Wi-Fi that you're offered on board is included as well. Many of the things that we talked about are listed here. Important thing is no smoking. So there is no smoking whatsoever, no casinos, because we're staying for 12 hours on average in each port, from sun up to sundown. And what's the point of a casino if you can tour the destination, if you can be out there, in the evening, your entertainment program starts, and then you go for dining. What time is left to gamble, right? And of course, no smoking there. So that's not really what the Viking client looks for. But if you walk away from our presentation here today and you've learned that Viking doesn't nickel and dime you, I think we all three have done a great job in explaining, the benefits to you among the beautiful ship. And, I can't help it, but I do have to pat our shoulders a little bit here. I think there was a lot of work that went in. We started Viking Oceans in 2015 with our first ship, Viking Star. And those are just some of the awards that we were awarded with over the years. The industry recognizes Viking as the industry leader, and in our segment, we are definitely a force to be reckoned with, right? When it comes to ships under 1,100 passengers, we are constantly taking top rankings there in the industry. Now let's take a look at the actual rooms, because that's important too, right? I know, Patti, you have seen them before, right? You walked through those rooms. What was your impression of those rooms?
I mean, they're all spacious. Certainly, who can complain when you have a beautiful veranda? The bathrooms are amazing. I love the heated tile and the floors in the bathroom. I love that at my own house. Everything that you need is right there, and the little mini bar in your room. Touches like you open the closet door and the light goes on. You close the closet door, the light goes off. you just touch the drawer, it just eases right into closure. I mean, things that you just, you know, we don't explain adequately.
Yeah, no, I agree, you know. So we mentioned that every cabin has its own private veranda, right? There's not a single cabin on board that does not have its own veranda. And what we're looking at here is your minimum. That's your entry level cabin. That's as bad as it gets. Let's put it like that, right?
The worst one.
So that's the worst. So you have your king size bed here. We can separate the beds on request. It's very, very easy for us to do. So let us know, let Patti and her team know. We can set that up already prior to your arrival. Beautiful little sitting area with chairs or couches that are available. Nice working desk. And I'm going to get back to that desk in a little bit because I want to explain another great feature. So Patti mentioned many of the great features in the bathrooms. Those are really absolutely fantastic, and they really make for that high-end feel of these cabins, of these vessels. Now, one step up from here would be your deluxe veranda. The deluxe has a couple more features, right? You have now alcohol in your mini bar and those kind of things. You have binoculars that come with it, and for me, very, very important, and I can't be without it, a coffee maker in the room. Yes, I'd be happy to pay $200 more for my cruise and have a coffee maker. And it's not a drip coffee, it's those little shots that you make. An espresso ones. Yes. So espressos, cappuccinos, you have tea capsules there, and you can make yourself a tea in the morning and just sit on your private veranda and just take it all in, right? There's something to be said about that. Now, when we go up in category, and this is the slide I wanted to talk about for a second on this working desk. So you have this desk, and when you close the lid, it's a great writing desk to read or write. But when you open it, we do have a vanity in there. It's for the ladies to, get ready for the day. It's nice to sit down to do that, so you don't have to do that standing in the bathroom. You can do it right there. You have all the accessories lined up below that desk, in the desk, that you can get ready for the day.
Nice lighting.
You have the lighting, you have the magnifying mirror. So I think Viking has done a fantastic job there. Gentlemen, if you're listening, for you, we have a nice railing there to wait for your wife on. So
While she gets ready.
While she's getting ready. So we really thought it through here, right? So let's take a look at this beautiful penthouse suite. Now, a suite on Viking, let me remind you, is always 2 rooms. So you have your living room in the back there, and here when you walk into the cabin, you actually walk into the bedroom, then in the living room, and then out there is your beautiful veranda. And it's always double occupancy. It's always 2 people to a cabin, no matter how large the cabin is, right? So this is the Penthouse Junior bathroom. Very, very nice. And like Patti said, the standard or how far this industry has come is really amazing, right? I think I do remember 20, 30 years ago, we were talking curtains in the showers and those kind of things. I mean, those, yeah, boo. So that's all gone, gone are the attacking shower curtains. It's all glass cabins now. It really has come a long way. So plenty of room there, double sinks in those Penthouse Junior Suite cabins. And you see that contraption there with the towel? Do you know what that is?
Heated towel rack.
Heated towel. There is something to be said about drying yourself off with a heated towel. I try to convince my wife. I know. I try to convince my wife to have one in the house, but she wouldn't go with it. But anyway, there is something to be said about that. They're absolutely amazing. So here in the Explorer Suites, now these cabins are large enough to entertain. You have dining table in there. You have your living room there. You have adjacent to this room, you have your private, your nice bedroom. And then look at the balcony space around it. It's absolutely amazing. They come on different decks, come in different categories, different sizes. They reach from 600 to almost 1,200 square feet. I mean, you're talking apartment size here. So very, very nice. And then, of course, there's the owner suites. And please see Patti. She will be happy to walk you through the details on the owner suites, and we'll fill you in on all of those details. Now, as a reminder, please feel free to enter your cabins, type them up in the Q&A box. Marcia is looking out for all these questions. We'll be happy to answer them afterwards. Now, Here's a typical view onto the beautiful veranda of the Explorer Suites. They vary also in layout and design based on where these are located at. Now, the Explorer Suites are the only cabins that have a shower and a bathtub. All other cabins only have the shower. This cabin does feature a tub as well. Now, we talked about it, just kind of showing you some of the beautiful itineraries that you're gonna kind of look a little further out into 2022, maybe even 23. But these are the most popular Viking itineraries that we can talk about, this gorgeous Viking Homelands from Stockholm to Bergen or in the opposite direction. And this is the itinerary that is really the backyard of the Vikings, right? This is the Viking Homeland. So if you have the name Viking in your company name, you want to do a themed cruise that focuses on ports that initially have been founded by Vikings. They were fishing villages, they were trading posts, marketplaces, and kind of grew into these metropolitan cities over years. So this is your typical, this is one of the most popular cruises that we have. Now, when this last one that I showed you, the Homelands, was a little bit more focusing on the grand cities in the Baltics, now here, we're going a little off the beaten path and we're visiting the fjords. We're going into the midnight sun. Now, there's only a few sailings available of those. If you're interested in seeing the midnight sun, talk to Patti. She will pull up those sail dates for you. You're probably looking at 23. So get your name in the hat right now. You know, these go fast. Now you're starting in the British Isles. You're starting in London. Very easy to get in and out. So that's a great advantage. Then you do some whiskey tasting here in Edinburgh, in the Orkney Islands. You know, you have to suffer through that, gentlemen. Shetland Islands, and then head all the way up to the Arctic Circle, and that's where your breath gets taken away by an untouched, unimaginable, beautiful landscape and views that you don't think are possible. We're heading the old coastal line here to Tromsø, Honningsvåg, Lofoten Islands. So an absolutely unforgettable cruise. One of the most famous fjords, Geiranger, is along the way as well. And then, of course, we do have these cruises in the Mediterranean where many cruise lines kind of pull out a certain time of year when the Caribbean cruises start. Patti reminded me of that, to mention that, right? But we really don't have a slow season in the Mediterranean because the summers, yes, they are fantastic to go. But what about when it cools down to spring temperatures, right? In the Mediterranean, when it gets to a weather that you might have to wear in the evenings a light jacket, you know, when you're sitting into the vineyards and enjoy a local wine in the Tuscany or those kind of, that is for me, this is the perfect time to go, right? Who likes to
like that too. I think it's wonderful touring weather and there's no crowds. I mean, so it's beyond the normal, June, July, August, September. If you can do these kind of itineraries and you've got the time year round, there are some wonderful shoulder season opportunities to save money and enjoy yourself even more.
Absolutely. And what I like about this particular one, it's an 8-day. You can easily combine it with a little land tour, do it before or after, maybe add on that Viking cruise. And what's great about it is also you can still use the discounted Viking Air, even if you include a land tour. Talk to Patti and her team. I mean, they're doing it all day long, all the time, So even for 21, don't write off 2021 yet. We do have departures available for this year. We're sailing right now on oceans, on rivers. And some of these I have put together for you here. The Greek Isle Discovery, just an 11-day round trip out of Malta, which I learned is absolutely beautiful. I haven't been before, but it's absolutely gorgeous. So there's a lot to learn about the Adriatic jewels, right? The Dalmatian coastline, Split, Dubrovnik, so many absolutely stunning and gorgeous ports. From Iberia, the Mediterranean and Malta, sailing from Portsmouth to Valletta. The Adriatic in Greece is a back-to-back cruise. If you really want to get away for almost the entire month, this would be my choice in the Adriatic in Greece, or the Western Mediterranean as well. But wait, there's more, like they always say, right? Iceland's natural beauty was something that we launched about a month and a half ago with a tremendous success. It was overwhelming to see how fast these sailings booked up. And so we put more inventory out there, more ships move them up to Iceland, which makes a lot of sense, right? You don't have these large cities. You're focusing on the countryside. You go into these small fjords, into villages of 300, 500 people, right?
Yeah.
And you're focusing on the countryside, on the amazing features of this incredible island. When the first ancient Vikings came here, they called it the land of the gods, right? Because they couldn't believe, oh my goodness, this is so amazing. I'm not quoting verbatim, this is my interpretation. This is so beautiful here. You know, this wasn't made for humans. This was made for the gods. This can't be for humans. So they called it the land of the gods, and it's absolutely stunning and amazing to see these natural beauties. Bermuda Escape, I tell you right now, I told Patti and Marsha earlier that I'm actually going on that cruise as well. I've never been to Bermuda, so 20 days I'm going. I'll be there. A round trip, beautiful, from Hamilton to Hamilton. We see these amazing grottos, some, you know, beautiful sandy beaches. I'm looking forward to stretch my feet in there and take a swim, take a dip there in the Caribbean. So that's happening right now. As of yesterday, and I scrambled, knowing that I'm talking about this today, I scrambled to put this together for you. Hawaiian Islands posted yesterday on the Viking website. If you don't want to fly a long time, you want to go to Los Angeles and sail, we have it for you, but act quick. These fill up fast. There's not a whole lot. We're adding more to it. This is 2021, Hawaiian Islands, Los Angeles, Los Angeles. I do not know if we do them in 22. We sure do them in 21. Panama, Pacific Coast, Fort Lauderdale to Los Angeles, which takes you to Panama Canal and along the coastline. Absolutely gorgeous. And then Grand Hawaiian Polynesia. This is 31 days in paradise, starting and ending in Los Angeles, Hawaii, Tahiti, and all these amazing places. And you can do it as a domestic starting and ending point. How amazing is that?
Yeah, that is great. Reiner, since you're talking about departures that are for basically things that people can do now, can you talk a little bit about procedures that folks might have to be aware of that are a little bit different now because of the COVID situation?
Most certainly. So, you know, we do have a very comprehensive health and safety protocol, which we talked about last time we spoke in detail. But you have to be aware that, you know, there's a couple of things that you need to do before going. And I did my Verifly app. I downloaded that yesterday to verify your vaccination status. You have to be vaccinated. You will have to do a test, a COVID test within 72 hours before you depart, and have to be also aware that we're going to do testing while you're on board. The good news here is it's not that intrusive nasal swab, it's a saliva testing. So you provide a saliva sample, and we do have laboratories on board with technicians that do the testing every single day. Very non-intrusive. You provide the sample in the privacy of your cabin, and our room attendants will pick them up. So within 2 hours, we know we get the negative results, and we go about our day. Now, depending where we go, now some countries that we're sailing to might require mask on, others may not. On the Viking ship, we ask folks to keep their masks on if we're in crowded places, indoor places like the dining venues. We'll take them off as we sit down. As we are in the, as we find our seat in the, let's say the entertainment venues, the theater, Star Theater, on our way there, we keep them on, but as soon as we find our spot, we take them off. That is, you know, kind of like moving around, try to keep our distance. And the good news also is we don't fill the ship up to capacity, right? There's plenty of room to spread out. So we're not selling 930 passengers. It's less than that.
Not right now. Okay, thank you.
Right. My pleasure. And again, I provided some information. If you want me to send you a brief webinar or brief information, I can do that just on the health and safety protocol. I will send it to Patti and Marsha. That goes over the specifics and over the details. If you really want to dive in, it takes a little bit more time. It's probably 15, 20 minutes.
There's a lot of details, and that's why we help people with that who are getting ready to travel.
Truly, and it's constantly, it is changing. And that's, again, why we are so important to you, to help you navigate those changes and what's required and what is recommended and what is required. And, I can't stress enough that we're here to help you get through these times, but still be able to enjoy and travel when it's safe and when you're ready.
Absolutely. You know, I think it's of tremendous help to have a travel agent that reminds me of the timeline. When do I need to have what in place? When is the next step that needs to be taken? You know, it is super important, and you use the expertise of your travel agents. They've been doing that for so many years, and their input, their feedback, their knowledge is invaluable for you. They can save you money, time, and a lot of headache, to be quite frankly, right?
So as far as the occupancy goes, Reiner, on the ocean ships right now, about how full are you guys running? Like for Iceland, for example, we just had some guests recently return with some fabulous pictures, and I mean, they didn't say, you know, that things felt naked in there or crowded either way, but I didn't know how many people you were.
About 700 out of 930, 650 to 700. I mean, the regulations, the local rules and regulations change. You know, Malta is much more open, where the Icelandic government is a little bit more, you know, cautious. So we go by the recommendations, whatever it takes. You know, we're Bermuda is about 600. So we're very, very cautious and follow local regulations, right? Mm-hmm. Now, good news also, I know we're talking about oceans today, but river departures are also open. So we're sailing the Danube, the Rhine. We're in Portugal. All of this is happening right now. We're also in France, Lyon and Provence, Paris in the heart of Normandy. So these 8-day journeys are open. And then the back-to-back, the 15 days is being offered also as well. And the same as we speak. And with that, I am at the end. You did it. Thank you so much. But we do have a couple more things we want to talk about here. So Patti, you have the floor.
Okay, when you're talking, question.
Yeah, go ahead, Marcia.
There was this one question about itineraries that someone was asking about. What was a good Northern Lights itinerary?
And
well,
you mean? Yeah.
Yes. That is a fantastic tour. I can highly and wholeheartedly recommend it. Now, again, when somebody looks for the big cities and the hustle and bustle of big cities, that would probably be not the Northern Lights. This is more something that sails into tranquility, into the midnight sun, into the Northern Lights, into you know, the countryside, the natural beauty, the magical fjords, almost mystical. You know, if somebody looks for something more city focused, the Homelands would be my choice, because it's the big cities, it's the gorgeous museums of the world that we're featuring there. So definitely, you know, a conversation to have with your travel agent to help you with what is the right way, what is the right cruise for me.
And Marcia, when you were in Iceland, you saw the Northern Lights.
I did. So I'd have to see. The beginning of the Northern Lights season is the very early part is September. So we went at the very end of September on a land tour, but we were able to see, and we had some great views. After the clouds cleared, we had some great views of Northern Lights, and it was, the guide said it was very lucky that we got to see as much as we did, but it was important to have a guide, so that was important. But yeah, from late September and then over and later, you know, when you have maximum darkness in some of those northern areas, that's going to be the best time to go. So we could take a look at the different cruises that go to those northern areas, Iceland, Norway, see about the time frame of those to see when it's going to be the best itinerary, which itineraries are running at the best times. But they do have In Search of the Northern Lights that, of course, is focused on that. So that was probably going to be the best one to see Northern Lights. But there could be other ones as well.
Into the Midnight Sun might be one as well.
Yeah.
And truly, guys, it all starts with a conversation with us, having us learn what your priorities are, what your interests are, you know, what your needs are, and how we can combine it to, you know, maximize your value and your time. You know, Reiner talks about back-to-back cruises, but we can still use the airfare. That's very popular right now. Heck, we can even do a river cruise and an ocean cruise together. So, you know, that's becoming more and more popular. The trends are, you know, there's been a lot of pent-up demand, and, you know, the reason we're here today in August talking about, you know, cruises for that are now available for 21, and then 22 and 23 is because these are selling further out. People are making their reservations, you know, well in advance. And with Viking, I have to say, one of your most competitive aspects is with the flight programs that you guys offer. So these are all details that we'll share with you when we sit down with you one-on-one. But the other thing about booking now, and if you might want to even pop to the next screen, I think it's the risk-free guarantee.
There you go. Yeah.
Because we haven't talked about that right now, but this is going away. Right now, this is available for any bookings that have been made prior to the end of August of 2021. And it really allows you security and, you know, no risk, but maximum flexibility in terms
peace of mind.
Yeah, peace of mind, able to move your plans, you know, prior to 24 hours before departure, things like that. So these are just extra tools that we have to share with you. And, you know, we hope that we have an opportunity to sit down and talk with each of you one-on-one. Our office is open for appointments, safe appointments with plexiglass and spacious areas, or we can talk with you over the phone or on a Zoom call, whatever you're most comfortable with. On the next slide, it's just vague because there's so many offers that we have in our poke sack. They don't call us magic for nothing. We can reach in and try to apply any number of special offers that we've got access to, because we are working so closely with Viking for this time period between now, August 19th and the 31st of August, to maximize your savings. And so watch your email. We'll be sending you little love notes with some special offers on there. And please, in turn, let us know what you're most interested in, and then we can really drill down and find your best opportunities out there. As I said, we're open. We can schedule an appointment. We'll do it all for you. We're here to help you. We don't charge any service fees for these services, guys. We're very, very experienced, and especially with Viking, and we do represent all the other cruise lines and tour operators as well. So spread the word. Travel is back. Yay! We're going out there. Give us a call, and thank you very much for spending your time with us today. We look forward to dealing with you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.